Hello viewers, in this tutorial I want to teach fractions to my 5-year-old. Let's see how it goes. I want to try as much as possible to make him understand the basics or the foundation of fractions. So how am I going to go about that? I'll try as much as possible to explain and see if he can grab the concept. So fractions, you know, I told you something about fractions before, right? Okay. So let's try and understand fractions. Let's say I have what shape is this?
Tree.
What shape is this?
Circle.
This is a circle, right? Let's assume that this circle represents an orange. Let's assume that this circle represents an what?
Orange.
Let's assume that this circle represents an orange. But I want you and Ujiro to share this orange. So you are going to divide this orange into two. You are going to divide this orange into 2 for you and Ujiro. So what are we going to do? So we will divide this orange into what? 2. You will take one part and Ujiro will take the other part. Now, because we have divided this orange into 2, this side now is a half. And how do you write the half in mathematics? You say 1/2. This side, this half, is 1/2 because you divided the orange into 2. This other half is 1/2. The side is 1/2, the side is 1/2. So this is half. And this is a fraction. Half is a fraction. This is the full orange, and when you take only this one part out of it, it becomes a half, which is a fraction. And how do you write that fraction? You write it as 1/2. Now, let's assume that this orange, Jeconiah came visiting. Let's assume that Jeconiah came visiting. And instead of, you also want Jeconiah to have a share in this orange. You also want Jeconiah to have a share in this orange. So are you going to divide it into 2?
Yes.
If you divide it into 2, which part will you give to Jeconiah? You take one part, Ujiro take the other part. Which part are you going to give to Jeconiah?
3.
So we'll divide this orange now into 3. We'll divide this orange into 3. So let's draw another orange, and we will now divide this other orange into 3 so that you can take one part, Ujiro can take one part, and Jeconiah will take another part. So let's see. How am I going to divide it? I will divide it like this. Yes. Which one is bigger? No one is bigger. Let's assume that all the parts are equal, right? Let us assume that all the parts are equal. So, because we divided this orange into 3, one part of it we will call 1/3. This other part is also 1/3. This part is also 1/3. Do you get it?
Yes.
So this one orange, we have divided it into 3. And each of the parts is 1/3. So you can see that in this case that we divided the orange into 2, each part of this orange is 1/2. That is a fraction. while each part of this orange is 1 over 3. So 1 over 2 is a fraction. 1 over 3 is a fraction. And the message it is telling you is that I have one full piece and I divided it into 2 parts. So one part is 1 over 2. But in this other orange, I divided it into 3 parts. And one part is 1 over 3. It must not be orange, oh. Like I told you the last time. It must not be orange. It could be a piece of biscuit. A biscuit. So let's use this bar to represent a biscuit. No, let's just assume. Let's just assume that this is a biscuit, right? Let's just assume that this is a piece of biscuit, or do we say a bar of candy, or let's just say it's a piece of biscuit, right? Now, I want to divide this biscuit into 4 because Prince has also come visiting. So we have you and Ujiro, and then we have Jeconiah and Prince also visiting, making how many of you?
3.
No. Zeno, Ujiro,
4.
Prince, and Jeconiah, making 4 of you. So for this biscuit to be enough for you, 4 of you to share, we have to divide it into 4, right? So let's try and divide it. 1. You can see I've divided it into how many parts? Look, hey, be careful. I've divided it into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many parts are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I divided it into, remember, in this case, when I divided it into 2 parts, each part was 1 over 2. When I divided this other orange into 3 parts, each part was 1 over 3. Now that I have divided this biscuit into 4 parts, each part will now be what? 1 over 4. Each part will now be what? 1 over 4. So let me use a thicker pen so that you can understand, or it could be visible to the video. 1 over 4. 1 over 4. 1 over 4. So the fraction here, each part is what? 1 over 4. We divided this biscuit into 1 over 4 parts. I hope you got the concept now. So we'll stop here. Next time we'll continue. Thank you.